Like the circuits they race upon, Formula One is having a day of twists and turns. Green light for Ferrari. 7-time F1 champion Michael Schumacher will come out of retirement to drive for his former team. Now that's the green light. It's the red light for BMW. Its team is pulling out at the end of the current season. World Sport's Alex Thomas has more on BMW's drastic decision.
This was BMW's first attempt at running a Formula One team, and it will end after just 4 seasons. The German motor company says it wants to use the money it would have spent on F1 to develop new eco-friendly technologies for its cars instead.
When you consider that the entire company is focusing on sustainability, our collaboration in Formula One is no longer our main goal.
BMW's announcement comes less than 8 months after Honda pulled out of the sport to save money. For some time, Formula One bosses have been stressing the need to cut costs. And after a second global brand quit F1, they said, it has been clear for some time that motorsport cannot ignore the world economic crisis. The major manufacturers agree savings need to be made, but are worried new rules are making F1 less attractive to compete in.
It's all about selling cars for BMW and for these manufacturers. That's what they're in the game for, is to sell road cars. If it's not working as a promotional tool, as a marketing tool, then there's no need to be in Formula One. Okay, BMW used it for technical reasons, but the bottom line is selling cars. If they're not getting anything out of it from a technical point of view and they're running around at the back of the field, what's the point in doing it?
It can also be argued that BMW simply quit because it wasn't winning. When the car maker supplied engines to the Brabham team in the 1980s and to Williams in the 90s, it racked up 19 race wins and a drivers' championship. Since taking over the Sauber team, BMW has just one victory to its name and is currently third last in the manufacturer's standings. Time had run out.
I can understand why this decision was made from a corporate perspective. For us as a team, we now have 2 goals. We will do everything we can to return back on track in the second half of the season. All planned development steps will be made, and new ideas that will come too. We want to finish the season with good results.
BMW hasn't announced what will happen to over 700 workers at the team's base in Switzerland. Braun GP rose from the ashes of Honda's demise, and now another top motorsport outfit is looking for new backers. Alex Thomas, CNN.
Formula One then, certain once again. 2 names, big names in the business, in the news. Christian Sylt is a motorsport expert, the author of Formula Money. He joins me now. When you weigh up between the 2 developments today, I think probably Schumacher coming back in is the more interesting.
Sure.
But which is the more significant?
The more significant is the BMW development, for the simple reason that it could cause a snowball effect that triggers other teams and other sponsors to depart the sport. It shows there's a lack of confidence in the business.
So that's why BMW is leaving. BMW is basically wanting out because it's just too expensive, or are there other reasons? Do they just not like the way the whole thing's being run at the moment?
I think we've had a number of factors that's brought us to the present day. There's been issues with the governance of the sport in terms of regulations being introduced without the team's consent, so to speak. There's been huge issues with accelerated spending over the many years, and now obviously we've got the economy.
Right. Now I'm juggling here, sort of rather badly, I have to say, between the Schumacher story and the BMW story. Let's go to the Schumacher. So he's coming in really to help out Ferrari because of Massa, who's out obviously seriously, critically injured. Was it necessary?
In terms of Schumacher coming back?
I mean, is it just grandstanding? What's he going to do?
Well, he's an extraordinarily talented driver, so Ferrari at the minute isn't having one of its better seasons. It's not doing as badly as some of its peers, but it's having a pretty bad season, generally speaking. So he will bring a lot of kudos to the team. He'll bring a lot of motivation and goodwill to the team. Not that it lacked it already, but he'll bring even more.
What money does he bring back into the team, if any?
Not necessarily direct sponsorship. Ferrari's already very well catered for in terms of sponsorship with the likes of, Shell, etc. And it's still getting cigarette money from Marlboro. I mean, it's got a lot of money behind it now, so it doesn't really need any more money. But potentially, there's a performance issue. People are potentially scared of Schumacher, other drivers, that is.
Psychological.
Absolutely.
It's one thing to be facing Felipe Massa. It's quite another thing
facing Michael Schumacher.
to have him sitting in front of you on the grid.
4 wheels and how many horsepower behind him.
Right, let's go back to BMW, to the BMW side of the developments today. Is it likely that, who's already pulled out, basically? Honda's pulled out,
now BMW.
Yeah. The herd heads to the door, heads for the exit when they see where everyone else is going.
It's like a run on a bank.
Is it? Is it then?
Quite potentially.
How serious is that potential?
High. I reported only just about a week ago that Renault, the French Renault team, has reported recently the highest ever costs in F1 for a UK-based team, £160 million. Now, Honda, the forerunner to that was Honda, and then Honda left.
So finally, will tonight Max Mosley and Bernie Ecclestone, will they be sitting there thinking, how do we get out of this mess? Or will they be basically giving the equivalent of a finger up to the team?
Quite possibly the finger up. It's their strategy. They'll just plough on regardless. They seem to know what they're doing.
Christian, many thanks indeed.
No problem.
This is your report. Formula Money.
Welcome to Sylt.
Thank you very much. I get a free book as well. Thank you very much indeed.